What is up, BroskiPlays, and welcome to a brand new The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus LUA modding tutorial. I am really sorry that I haven't made any new episodes. The reason for that is because I'm busy with this huge product called The Binding of Isaac Holy Birth Plus. You can check it out in Steam Workshop if you want. And yeah, so that's the reason why I haven't done a lot of episodes. I still need to try get the project starting. But I'm back here with another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at making our own custom enemies from the beginning to the end. So I'm hoping you guys love it because you guys have been requesting this for a lot of times, and how you can actually put it in the game and such. So we're going to get through that really quickly. So first of all, what you guys need to do, you guys need to download two programs. The first program that you guys need to download is a really easy program to download. Let me just show you right now. Okay, so what you guys want to download is you want to go to Google and type this in: Basement Renovator. It's a special room editor that was actually used for the Rebirth and Afterbirth, but it actually works with Afterbirth Plus, and it's recommended because this awesome program allows you to put custom entities in the game. And yeah, it's really important because otherwise you cannot put your custom enemies in your game. So keep that in mind. So you want to download that. Once you got it downloaded, you're ready to go, and just use the normal programs. For anyone that is kind of wondering about the plugins, you guys have been requesting a lot, where do we put the plugins? What you basically want to do is you want to go to your to the folder where you have your ZeroBrane, which for me will personally be let me just get it real quick. Hopefully it loads pretty fucking quick. That's too much searching. Wait, let me just get the ZeroBrane folder for you guys. Okay, so you want to go to your ZeroBrane folder, which for me is ZeroBrane Studio. You want to go to API or API or API, I don't fucking care. And then you want to do LUA, and here's where you want to put your Afterbirth Plus LUA file. It's very important, so keep that in mind, guys. And to activate it, you want to go to your ZeroBrane Studio, open it up. When it's open up, then you want to go to View. To Project LUA Interpreter, and then you want to choose the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus API. Obviously, this API isn't updated yet, so keep that in mind. That some comments that are new are not automatically suggested, so keep that in mind. And yeah, let's start off with the basics. So what do you need to do in order to make a custom enemy? For this, we're going to be using make a new folder. So I'm going to call this folder custom enemy. You guys can call it custom enemy as well. Pretty easy to understand. And first, what you want to do is you want to make two folders. The first one is going to be a folder called content. This is where you put the XML files, and you can actually, you don't have to make a special folder in here. You don't have to make a resource folder. So what you want to do is you want to make a folder called GFX, and here's where you want to put the items XML, and this is where you want to put the main LUA. You don't have to make a resource resource folder, so keep that in mind. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to have obviously the sprite sheet that you want to change. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can easily make your custom enemy possible. So I'm not going to be using my custom enemies because they're basically for the mod and I haven't shown them yet. They're not updated. So instead we're going to use a existing sprite, and basically we're going to use that and basically make a custom enemy out of it. So what about we use one of the most easiest kind of enemies that there is. So we have the Horf, which is a really good example of what you can do with it. So we have the Horf here. So what you want to do is you want to go to the folder of your Afterbirth Plus mods. It's in Documents, My Games, Afterbirth Plus, and there you want to go to Custom Enemies, and you want to paste it inside the graphics folder right here. Also be sure to put it in the monsters folder. There will also need to be a monster folder, otherwise the game doesn't detect it because it's a sprite for monsters. And then if you want, you can always put it in classic, so it's much easier for you to understand, but you don't have to. Okay, next what you want to do is you want to find the animation file for the Horf. So how do you do that? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Open a new map, and basically you want to go to Resources, Graphics, and search Horf. In our example, it will be Horf, obviously. So here we have the normal Horf. What you want to do is you want to copy and paste it to your to the GFX folder, not the monsters. The monster folder is for the sprites. This is for the ANM2 file. Now we're going to call this red Horf. And now let's change this sprite. So we're going to call this sprite, let's do red Horf. So this is going to be a red Horf. So what we do is we open it in GIMP. We're not going to do drastic changes. The only thing that we do is changing the color a bit. just to show how you can do these custom enemies. It's not going to be like spriting a whole new looking thing. It's just going to be a simple kind of tutorial on the basics on doing this. And obviously we're going to apply custom Lua to this guy to have a custom attack and anything else. So first of all, let's change his color. So we're going to make him, let's go with a, I like the blue one. I think blue is pretty cool. So we're going to call him like that. But we made him red for some reason, which we shouldn't do. Okay, close GIMP. You can, if you want, save it. I recommend to do that though. Because like when you want to use it like for another project and you want like to use a sprite, you don't have to like do and remake everything. Next up is you want to change this to like blue or whatever the hell you want. And now let's change to blue as well. So obviously we changed that, so we have to change this. Now what you want to do is you want to open up this file. If you don't, then you will have lots of problems with getting this in the game. So basically you want to click on this little button here and click on replace. And obviously it won't be a difficult time for you because we are using the same sprite sheet as the original monster. So you don't have to like replace the animation. If you can even add your own custom animations, but I will talk about that later in another video. Because we're now just going over the basics of making a custom enemy. So now what you want to go to is you want to go to content. I'm in the wrong folder, pardon me. That is not the folder we should look at. This is for my mod. You want to go here, you want to go to monster, you want to do blue half, and that's it. Now you just click on save and you're good to go. Now next up what you want to do is you want to make a new XML file, which we're going to do inside the content file. And we're going to just go into Notepad. So open your Notepad++, if you don't have it, links in the description to that, and get yourself an XML file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a code for you guys, so you don't have to like make it yourself. It's going to be a basic code that basically explains how you should like add entities in your entity folder. It's really easy to understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use just going to copy all of this. The reason for that is because I don't want to like make a new entity and start with nothing, because obviously you then have lots of problems. You get runtime errors. Also, if you guys get runtime errors, it has to do with your XML files. It never has to do with the Lua, so keep that in mind. Whenever you oh, holy shit, there's a flipping helicopter around here. Holy crap. Anyway, let me just get rid of all of this. Pardon me for the helicopter, by the way. Okay, so we're going to keep one of these entities, which is going to be this. No, actually, let's get rid of everything. Okay, so if you got rid of everything, this is what you're going to do. First of all, I'm going to change this because we have it in GFX monsters. Oh no, the ANM2 root. That basically means if it's ANM2 root, is basically searching for the map where the ANM2 file is located and the version of the entities XML. So here we go. Now what do you want to do to get the current right entity? So if we want to make an Horf character, for example, we have to go to the main folder of the rebirth folder. And what you want to do is you want to go to resources and go to entities 2. You can open that in Notepad if you want, but I just prefer to put it in Internet Explorer. And what you want to do is you want to search for the entity. So for example, enemy, which is Horf. So here we go. We found a Horf. This is kind of the code for the XML. So you want to copy it. Also keep in mind, if you copy this from Internet Explorer, you will find this little stripe. Delete it, because otherwise you get a runtime error. Keep that in mind. So what does this all mean? Variant basically means what kind of variant it is, because sometimes entities have variants. Like for example, you have the charger, which has a normal version, a drowned version, stuff like that. Which basically like shows what kind of variant of that entity is going to be spawning. Stage HP doesn't have to do with anything, it has to do with grand entities, not with this. Shadow size, where you can determine the amount of shadow, like how big it is, the shadow. Then you have the grid collision points, so how much collision points it has. So like for example, if you put 4 collision points, then we'll only have 4 places where it can collide with other objects. Then we have the name, which is Horf, which we're going to change to Blue Horf. Then we have the ID. You want to put this on 12, don't want to change this. Pretty important stuff. Friction basically means if it's like gonna bounce off walls. Then you have collision radius, like what is the kind of distance between a object before it's gonna collide. Collision mass, like how much does it, in what kind of way does it like affect gravity. For example, if you have collision mass 100, then it will be really heavy and it will just not have any knockback at all. Then we have champion, so basically this determines if it's a champion version or not. Boss checks if it's a boss or not. Base HP checks how much HP it has, so if you want to have 1 HP it dies instantly. And the ANM2 path. This is really important. You want to obviously put the right path in here. So we call those our enum2 file bluehorf. Reroll, if you want to put this on true, then it will reroll, like it will reroll, so it allows that whenever you like use a D6 or something like that, the dice that allows you to reroll enemies, it allows you to like reroll the current enemy that we're changing here. Portrait doesn't really matter, I changed to 4 because it's basically the same. Then we have the bestiality overlay, it doesn't really matter. This basic animation, keep that in mind, because it's saying shake, which is basically a state of the enemy itself. And as you can see, this is what shake does, it basically shakes, and as you know, bluehorfs shake when they want to shoot. So keep that in mind. Then we have bestiality transform, so it doesn't move, it only like shakes a little bit. And they have bestiality true, which basically checks if this enemy is going to be in the bestiary of the game. So that is basically all you have. Then you have GIPs, which basically like what will like spawn when it dies. So for example, will it spawn blood, will it spawn bones, eyes, stuff like that, and how much amount. Then we have the sound. So ideas, you can find those in the documentary, which you can find the sound ideas of. You can put it in there. So if you want to have a sound of mom dying, you can do that as well. Pretty cool stuff. So you can change everything how much you like, and check the documentary if you want to add like custom kind of things to it, but we're going to talk about that later in another video. So also really important to put this in, otherwise the game doesn't know which sound it uses. It's pretty weird, but you have to do it. So now that you got that done, you basically want obviously to change the variant, because if you put on 0 it will basically not work, it will just spawn the normal variant. So obviously the whole has 2 variants, the normal variant and the psychic variant. So you want to put so you have 0, 1, so we're going to do variant 2. So basically what this means is whenever like the variant and the ID are really important, because ID basically means like, for example, this is ID, let me just check for you guys. So the ID is here we go, where is it? ID 12. So then if you want to spawn it in the debug menu, you want to do 12.02. That's how you spawn this enemy. That's basically kind of the way of spawning it. And it's also really important to know this for later on in this video where we're going to like edit in the game. So, but first of all, you want to like make the XML file possible. So what you want to go to is you want to go to the folder we're making, which is the custom enemy folder. And you want to go to content and basically paste it as entities2. Really important. Don't call it entities, just entities2. There we go. So now you paste it, and now the new entity should be in the mod. Now what you want to do for now is basically start the game and see if it works. And how you do that? By spawning it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to launch Rebirth, which obviously has the Holy Birth expansion at the moment, so keep that in mind. It won't change anything, just the soundtrack. So sorry for that. I have to like get rid of the mod. Actually no, I think you guys like that, to check out how the progress is a bit. Anyway, so I'm going to get rid of display capture, and then I'm going back into the game for you guys. So welcome back guys in the Binding of Isaac, and obviously I'm going to stop the music here. Okay, welcome in Holy Birth. Let me just change so you can hear the soundtrack. Anyway, so we have the mod enabled. Obviously if it turns red, that means there is something wrong in your Lua code, but obviously we don't have Lua code enabled yet, so it doesn't really matter that much. Let me just turn those off, and it should show custom enemy right there. Gone. Okay, well let me just enable the Binding of Isaac Holy Birth, because otherwise we cannot start the mod. So we're just going as Isaac. Obviously we have added like new characters in the mod, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, welcome in basement. So what do you do in order to start it? Well, you want to press the little tilde key. Obviously you want to put, let me just show you so you can see what I mean. Like loads of you guys have been saying like, oh no, the debug mode is not working. There's a lot of shit going on. Well, basically what you want to do is, let me just show you. If it shows up, obviously. I think I've already enabled it somewhere. Let's see, I think I have window capture somewhere enabled already. Otherwise it doesn't like... Let's see, okay, it shows window capture here. That doesn't work really. Let me just get this straight. Display capture, there we go. So, as you can see, let me just zoom in for you guys so you can see it. Display capture, okay. I'm gonna zoom in a lot here so you can see you see this little ing button there on your toolbar, like this thing right here. Click on it and change it to English United States. Otherwise, for some reason it doesn't work. It doesn't work with the English United States keyboard. So keep that in mind, click on that. Let me now get back into the game. Okay. Where is it? Jesus, why? Oh, fucking irritating. Sorry for that. There you go. Okay, let me just resize it a bit. Okay, welcome back. Now let me show you how it's done. As you can see now, the Afterbirth Plus console comes up, and now this is what you want to do. Spawn. You can just type in the name of your entity. So for us it will be blue, and as you can see it will show up as blue Horf, as you can see. And hey, it doesn't work, but it shoots. That's weird, right? Why does it not show? Well, that's basically because there's been a problem inside the XML file. As you can see, we have put a blue Horf there, but now there has been something going wrong here with the blue Horf animation file. So check out the blue Horf animation, because obviously I showed this so you guys can learn from the mistakes. Obviously we have blue Horf like normal without spaces, but this is the thing, it is case sensitive or capital sensitive, or I don't know. So you want to never have capitals in there, and I didn't do it because I forgot it. I did it just to let you guys learn of your mistakes. So again, we start the binding of Jesus. I haven't shown it, by the way. The reason for that is because I think you guys will know it from my way of how I explain it. That's kind of how you do it. I don't have to show it, hopefully. Also, sorry that the show BroskiPlays presents. That's just how it is. Anyway, welcome back in the basement again, guys, and let's do it again. And obviously it should work now. Okay, that's weird, it still doesn't work. Guess what? The A&M2 file, I guess, has something with the sprite sheet. It sounds weird, but there is something going on with that. So obviously, what do we want to do in order to make it spawn? Pretty easy. Let's get back into display capture. Let's get this back all the way down so I can show you how you do it. Because obviously I already know this. I just show you all the different scenarios that you can get in while doing this, so you guys can learn from it. And it's really important because you guys have been suggesting like that I should show the faults that you can experience when making custom enemies. So obviously you have to close this, because otherwise it doesn't work, because you cannot like just let it open. What you want to do is you want to open the A&M2 file of the blue Horf, which is this one right here. Now click on here, and for me it is freezing for 30 seconds. Keep that in mind. Don't think that your PC crashed or that your PC just had like a huge meltdown. Don't worry, for me it's a program itself that keeps doing that. I think it's just to load all the files in and the animations. So we have to wait a couple seconds, and then I'm gonna like talk to you about how it all works. Because obviously your sprite will not show up. For some reason it showed up. That's kind of weird. So there must be something going on with our entity sprite. So what we're doing here is, as you can see the animation works, is we're going to change the variant. Let's change the variant to 0 and let's see if that works. Because obviously maybe there is no variant called 1 or 2. Maybe we cannot define that. So we're going to try to do it right now and see if that works. Obviously it starts. Let me just change the screen for you so you can see the full glory. Isaac and his wife. Okay, there we go. New run and normal. Here we go. Let's try it out. So now we do the same thing. We spawn it again, and we do type in blue Horf. And again, it doesn't spawn. How weird. And now it even doesn't have its own variant. How is that possible, broski? Honestly, there is something going on here that we still haven't done yet. So we have to figure out how we do it. So we close it. We close the game because otherwise we cannot do changes. Get back to display capture. And let's see. So we have the A&M2 file, works as it should. So there's nothing wrong going on there. Now let's check out the entities file. Okay. So graphics. I'm going to check the log. Because maybe the log is showing something. So I'm opening the log. using LogExpert, which you can find in the description. Let's scroll all the way back. And then you'll find this line of code. That doesn't make a lot of sense. At least, not for me. Cannot add reference to graphics bluehorf.enm2. enum catch failed to load gfx bluehorf. How is that? I think it should be working, right? Because we have it in gfx bluehorf. Well, this is the thing. It is now loading from the gfx folder. It's not loading from the content folder. So how do we do this? How do we make it that it shows inside the content folder? Well, it's actually not that difficult. All you have to do is copy the address as text, right click and copy the address, go inside your entities folder and change this to this. I know it sounds weird, but that's how you do it. And the reason why we have to do it like this, it's because the game normally puts everything inside a resource folder because that's how the game works. But if we want to make the root different, then we have to change it from with a full path. And that sounds weird, right? Why would you do that? Well, it's basically just because the game thinks different about things. So let's save it and let's open it up again. So now let's check the log and let's see what's happening. So we load the log. You always have to have the log with you, because otherwise, and I'm also going to show you the screen while I'm doing that, so you guys can actually see the log while we're playing and running the custom enemy. Okay, so I done that, and as you can see, we're now going into the Isaac game. So nothing is happening because we haven't spawned the item yet. I mean the enemy. So let's go and spawn it. What you want to do is you want to type in bluehorf again. And hey, it still doesn't spawn. Could not open the map folder. Well, as you can see, it tries to open the content folder and there is no gfx bluehorf. And how is this possible, Broski? Well, I think you guys have been noticing this, but I forgot something. And I did this accidentally, just so you guys, like, not accidentally, I did it so you guys know, because I have been like loads of problems with this and I want to let you guys learn about these mistakes. So expect that we just get a lot of mistakes here. It's not because I like it to make mistakes. It's just I want to let you guys learn about the situation that you can like come in so I can help you guys out with that. So what is happening is Afterbirth plus mods, custom enemy content GFX. But Broski, like the path is here. What is wrong with it? Well, we have to put another backslash there. And the reason why we have to put another backslash is otherwise the game thinks that content and GFX is one single word. It's weird, right? And that's why it shows GFX bluehorf, because obviously your name is not bluehorf, GFX bluehorf is bluehorf, right? So that's the reason why, because if we now start the game over, it will actually load it. And now we can finally see our custom enemy. And if it's not, then I have made a huge mistake and I should kill myself. So here we go. So I'm going to show you the log once again, so you guys can all check it out. We don't have to show you the game now. It's much easier for you guys to see the log so you can understand how it works. So as you can see, we're now in the game and there's nothing wrong going on, right? It just starts up, nothing weird. And we just start and do spawn. So we do spawn bluehorf. And as you can see, he now spawns. And now he works. As you can see, he still doesn't shoot. But that's another thing that we need to figure out. So as you can see, we had made a new variant. And the entities file said that we had variant 0. And the reason why it said variant 0, because 0 is not, it's not a new variant. It's basically already an existing variant. So how do we make him shoot? Basically, we change the variant to 2. And now, if we change the game again, it should allow us to make him shoot. And that's basically how you make a custom entity do their animation and the coding that is normally used for the monster inside the game itself. So keep that in mind. If it doesn't shoot, just change the variant to a new one so the game knows that it's a new variant, so it has to have a new animation, and basically don't overwrite the other one. So here we go, we spawn it again, and as you can see, it now shoots. See, it shoots. As we like try to kill it, it shoots just like a normal bluehorf does. Now let's do the LUA and let's go and make this guy a little bit more interesting. So now that we've done the LUA, oh, we could actually wait. We could actually just let this run in the background. Oh my god, that's stupid. Well, anyway. Welcome again to the beautiful ZeroBrane Studio. We do new and we make a new Lua. So how do we do this? Like, how do we make and add a custom attack or custom, like, make a modification to this enemy? Oh, let me just change the music here. Actually, I like this music a lot more. That's a little bit too loud, right? Let me check. Yeah, it's a bit too loud. Okay, so what do we do in order to make this a custom enemy? Because we obviously have to add a new attack to it, otherwise it's not unique. So what do we do? So first, what you guys want to do is you want to put local here. Obviously you want to register the mod, so for us it will just be mod. Like, don't use difficult names, just use mod and item, so it's much easier for you to remember the variable. So register mod, obviously register mod, then we use the string, which you do with parentheses, and then you want to put, let's do blue half. Just make it blue half as a mod name. Okay, got that? Okay, next up what you want to do is you want to do local. So this time we don't do item, we actually get the entity itself. So how do we get the entity? You can do it either in two ways. The first way is the most easiest way, which is basically finding the entity itself by using Isaac.getEntityType by name. And then you put the entity type, which is basically blue half, and it checks the entities XML for new entities. That's basically what it does. Then you have another variant, which I have to get really quick so I can show you it's from the main thing. So what we have otherwise is this line of code. I'm just going to copy for you guys. So you have this kind of way of doing it and this kind of way. So if entities type is 285, 285 resembles the ID, and variant resembles the variant number, and subtype is nothing. So that's basically how you can also determine the different monster. So, but we're going to do it the simple way, which is local blue half. So what do we do next? Well, we make a function. So we do function, and then we do this. We do mod double dot, and then we do npc update blue half in capitals, so it's easy for us to understand. And then we do this. We put in blue half. Why do we put in blue half? Because then the thing, the mod knows. Because we basically try to create a custom entity for the, a custom variable for the mods that we're going to use. So for example, b half is basically the variable for the NPC that we're currently updating, if you know what I mean. Okay, so what do we do now, Broski? It's actually really easy. We are going to make a loop entity, but first of all you want to make a local player, because obviously player is really important. Otherwise it doesn't really work. So get player, get player, and do 0. There we go. Next up you want to do entities. So have I already told you about the for loop? No? Okay, then let me learn you. If you already did it, let me know in the comments. So Isaac.getRoomEntities, and then you do 2 parentheses, and now here it comes. This is what you have to do. For I equals 1 hashtag entities do. This is basically a for loop, and it checks every time you enter the room if there are new entities and what entities there are. So now we have to determine if the entities are all variant. So what do we do? If entities, wait, let me just check real quick. Let me see. Oh yeah, we have to use that. So what you want to do now is if entities bracket I basically resembles this thing. So I checks if entity is 1. So if there's if we want to search for more entities, we do 3 or 4 or 5. But that's basically the amount of entities that we're trying to search for. So for this one we search for 1 entity only. If entities I double dot is enemy, then if entities I, oh we forgot this is also really important. You have to add this in before I forget it. Otherwise it doesn't recognize it because this is a function. And that's why there are two of these parentheses there. Not parentheses, I mean, yeah, you know. Next up is vulnerable enemy. So this basically checks if the enemy is like vulnerable, if it's like, if it can be killed, or that it's like, if you can hit it, you know? Like it doesn't like check for invisible entities. So now we do, if entities is enemy, then it's going to check if it's the vulnerable enemy, and then we do this. If entities dot y equals blue half, so this one checks if the entities is equal to the blue half entity, which we made, then let's make it easy. Let's make it drop something. So how do we do that? So we have if entities is enemy, then I'm gonna like learn you guys a new kind of thing, which is kind of special. This one is called enemy has mortal damage, which is a new type of thing that I haven't shown you about. So if entities y, I forgot a double dot. If entities is has mortal damage, which basically means that he died. That's really important. Then if entities is blue half, then, so you have to do this like a couple times, the ifs, really important, otherwise it doesn't work. Like you can add them all in once, but it's like not that handy, because you can otherwise do it as steps, because Lua works in steps. So next up what you want to do is you want to do this. So what we're going to let him spawn a, let's see, what should we let him spawn? Like let him spawn something cool when he dies. Like for example, we can make him spawn a hole. For example, we can do that if you want to. We can like make him spawn a hole. So we're gonna do that. So grid entity type. There we go. Then we want to do grid. So dot grid in capitals. Let's do pit. Pit basically is like a hole. So like pit. Next up like Brad Pitt. You want to do int variant, so I don't think there is a pit variant or grid variant. I don't think there is one. No, there isn't. So you want to do 0 if it isn't, if it doesn't got a variant of it. Then you want to do vector position. So this is why we have the bhalf. You want to do no wait. You want to do entities. Sorry for that. You want to do entities. Wait, let me just check real quick again. Oh wait. Wrong, pardon me. You want to do entities, so entities y dot position in capitals dot x. Then you want to do entities. Oh no, you just want to do entities position, right? Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, you want to just do entity position. You don't even have to put vector in, I believe. Let me check. No, you don't. Okay, so we don't have to put vector, just do this. Entities.i is position. Then we do another comma, and then now we have to use vector. So this is basically velocity. Velocity means like in what direction it goes, how fast it is. Force means if it's like forced to, oh wait, we don't have to do velocity for this one. We just have to do this. And then we do force, which basically means if it's like forced to spawn, or like that only like like it can also like do nothing. But yeah, we do force because we want it to force spawn whenever it dies. So that's it. Now we click on end, and now you want to do just a lot of ends until it shows this line. Like this little line is going to change into a like a bracket. So for example, at this moment is when you know that you done it. Wait, boom. So now if you have like any problems with like the game, it means that you have too much ends. And if it shows like AHF, that means AHF means that you have to delete that current end. It's kind of a way how Lua detects it. So now that we make the function, let's do the final part, and that's the mod callback. So we're gonna learn a new mod callback today. So we do mod add callback. Okay, got that? Now we do mod callbacks dot MC NPC update. This is a new one. So basically MC NPC update updates the enemy, which NPCs are basically the enemies. It's not the player, it's just the enemy that gets updated. So now we do comma, and now we have to to obviously the function, which is mod dot, so not a double dot, just a dot, npc update bluehorf. And now you want to do, you can either do entity type, which we're going to do. So entity type, so we're going to do the horf, obviously. So we want to do entity horf. And now the game knows, oh, it's about the horf entities. Okay, I got it. So that is basically the line of code. So now let's check it out and see if it works, right? So first of all, we have obviously to save this as a main LUA inside of folder. So go to custom enemy and we're going to call this the main folder. Okay, done that, let's go. So now let's get into the game and let's do this. So I'm going to be showing it to you while the LUA log is running, so you guys can see if there's like any problems and also learn how the log works. So we're in the game and let's make it spawn. So we do spawn bluehorf. So first of all, what you notice is that for some reason we have to put a space there, and there we go. So now he spawns. What does he do? So we're gonna kill it. It doesn't spawn anything. How is that possible? What did we do wrong? Why doesn't it spawn a hole? Well, that means we did something wrong. And the reason why we did something wrong is because we cannot spawn I think a pit on basement, I think. So we have to check, like, let's go, for example, let's try to go to the caves. And let's see if that changed anything, because the caves obviously has a pit. So let's spawn it again. And let's see if it now drops a pit. No, it doesn't. So that's not the problem. So there has something to be in our code that is different. So let's go all the way back inside our log. There's no error going. So what do we do? Let's check out the LUA. So the LUA said nothing wrong, but what's going on here? Have we missed something? So you have grid entity, that's good, got that right. Then we have the variant, which is 0, position, which is good, and boolean true. Maybe we have to change the entities to bluehorf. Maybe that wasn't the reason to do it. Like, I'm not doing this for you guys to just like have, oh shit, now I fucked everything up. It's just to show you the kind of things that you're gonna have in. So what we're gonna do, I let you guys copy this so it's easy for you to understand. Now, let's use this code instead. Let's get rid of if entity is mortal damage and let's change it into this. If enemy. So what do you do? Like, why enemy? Like, how do you make that enemy? Well, you need to make a new variable next to entity. So we do local. First we have to put then here, obviously. So we want to put local, okay, local. Then we do enemy is entities bracket y bracket. So this basically, this variable means that we can put enemy as a way to show LUA that this is basically what we mean with the entities. So you have enemy as mortal damage and entities is type 23. Variant number 2, which is obviously not the type that we're finding, so we have to change the ID. So how do we do it? Check out the entities folder. So as you can see, the ID of our little guy is 12. So we have to go and change this to 12. Then the variant, it's on 2 right now, which is actually the right variant, which is good. So now we've done that, and then we have the subtype, which you don't have to change. It's only for other stuff. Then you have this, so then it should work. You have a bit too much end there, so we have to change that. And now let's try again. So let's load the LUA once again. So we do LUA mod the bind. Oh no, that's not the one. Custom enemy. So you have to put post the mod folder name and then LUA mod. So oh, we got an error. Let's check it out. Oh, there needs to be a comma expected near the hashtag sign. So that means there is something wrong inside a for loop. And yes, it is. What happened here is we forgot to put a little comma here for the for loop to work. And this is really important. That's why I didn't show you guys to put a comma, so you can learn how to fix them yourself as a trial and error. So put save, and now the for loop should work. So let's check it out again. There's another bad argument to register mod, number expected. And again, I am right because I forgot to put in a ID number. And this is obviously something you always have to put in. So keep that in mind. put a 1 there so the game knows what Lua version you're on. And again, I am not doing this because I'm bad at coding. I'm doing this to let you guys learn how to fix them. And now, as you can see, the Lua script is working. So let's try to spawn our little guy again, shall we? So we spawn the blue horse, and he does nothing at the moment, only shoots. And see, now he spawns a grid. We done it. It spawns a hole. So let's make a couple of these, and let's see what happens if we kill them all. Basically, we can just fuck around with it, which is a lot of fun. Like, trust me, it's a lot of fun. So we go to go to. No, not go to. We do repeat. That's a new line for you guys to like repeat a thing that you just spawned with the debug menu. So we're gonna do like, let's do 10. So now we spawn 10 of these guys and they all die. And as you can see, they all spawn a pit. That's pretty cool. So now it's more difficult for you to get closer, and like you have to watch out where you spawn them though, because otherwise they just break the game. It's just to show the possibilities on how easy you can make your custom enemies in this game. And as you can see, I died, which obviously don't mind the effect there, it's because of the mod. Let me just spawn it again, repeat it, and let's do that again. Let me just put the bug 3 on so we have infinite health, so we don't die as easy. And now as you can see, it does work. And it's funny because normally these grids don't spawn on basement, but because we've done it with Lua, it actually spawns. But as you can see, the texture itself is not meant for the basement. But it's pretty cool because you can make cool puzzles with this. And that's the cool thing about this enemy, because it spawns a grid, a pit. It basically allows the player to have to need to be really careful what kind of enemy you kill and how you kill it. So yeah, you can do some really interesting stuff with it. Now the final part, how do we get this inside our mod? Like, how do we make this a real custom enemy? Well, we have to use that program that I asked you to download in the beginning of the video. So that's where the basement renovator gets into play. So let's check it out. So as you can see, we're now inside my PC, and now we have to go, and if you download the basement renovator, go to the basement renovator. So obviously the basement renovator is just a program that checks rooms, and there you can make new rooms, stuff like that. But it has a really neat feature of adding custom entities to rooms. How do you do that? Well, it's really easy actually once you know how to do it. So go to resources, and there you will find all these folders. First of all, let's go to entities. There you will see all the different sprites that the program uses. Now, if we are going to change a horse, we have to copy the horse. So let's copy the horse here, and let's call it blue horse. And this is basically as a reminder for the thing that we made a new sprite. And now let's sign it or entity or new entity. So what we do is we have to edit this with Notepad. And holy shit, this looks so much different than the other kind of entities, and that's true, but I'm gonna get you guys through. So what you want to do is you want to find the horse. So obviously we gotta go to horse. Here he is, here's the horse. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy the whole text of code of the horse and basically put it next to this one. But now what do we change? Well, basically first of all I want to change the horse sprite, which is going to be blue horse that we just created. Then I want to change the name, which the name allows you allows the program to find the correct name of the entities file. So there we do blue horse. There we go. Now variant. Obviously this is variant 2, so put variant 2 there, and then the ID, which we don't have to change at all. It's just 12. Okay? And now we click on save, and that's it. That's basically, now we added our own enemy inside the basement renovator. But how do we put it in? Well, let's open the basement renovator and let's find it out, shall we? Click on the basement renovator afterbirht.exe and let it wait until it's fully run. And here you have your untitled map. It's nothing. You have your items, but let's go to enemies, and there you will find a second wait, not second caper. Let me just go to where is it? And then you will find your guy here, blue horse. Boom, there he is, blue horse. So what do we do in order to put it in the game? Well, let's go to file and let's go to open. And what we have to do is we have to get the normal rebirth room. So just get the normal, just go to your Binding of Isaac rebirth resources and rooms and choose the one where you would like to spawn the enemy in. So I like to put it like in the basement, or maybe in the cellar, or in the burning basement. I think this guy fits in the cellar. So I put it in the cellar. As you can see, the backdrop changes into the cellar. Boom. So how do we make this possible? Well, as you can see, these are all the rooms that are already in the game. but how do we like put it in? Well, it's actually not that difficult. All you have to do is choose a room that you would like to test. So for example, we can make our own room. So click on add, do that, like that. And now we want to change the ID. So right click on new room, and let's make it so that it fits. So at the moment there's like 1032, so we're going to call this 1033. So here we go, change this number to 1033. And now we can also change the room to a node room or a normal room, and we can change the difficulty, the weight, so how much it spawns, and the size. So we can change different kind of ways to play around with the room. But we're just going for a basic simple room. Okay, so now let's spawn a bunch of these blue holes in the game. So here we go, right click on a block or on a little highlighted spot and just right click on it to place them. It's not that difficult to do it, trust me. So you just make these, like put them on different positions. We put some rocks to make it a little bit more fun, more interesting. So you can place rocks by doing this. There we go, place them like that, because obviously horves can only shoot from one area at a time. So here we go, what I want to do is like create a little, I don't know, kind of a pathway with all sorts of these motherfuckers. There we go. So we place them, and you can make all sorts of different rooms with this. It's really cool and really interesting to try these out. So obviously a Horv also shoots from this side, and it doesn't have a sprite, so you can also put them here if you want to. So there we go, place it like, oh. And if you want to remove something, just click on it and press the delete button. Now let's select the blue Horv, just make sure to select it and place it like that. That's it. So now we have created our room, but how do we test it out in the game? Well, that is actually really easy, but first we have to save it. So let's save this and do save as. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new folder inside our mod, which basically adds all these rooms in, but also adds the new room in, which is basically our room. For this we have to obviously get rid of all the other mods that have rooms. So for example, our mod should be off for this, which I'm going to do in a bit. So custom enemy, content, I'm joking, resources, so we're going to do resources like that, see, resources, and then we want to make a new folder called rooms. There we go. Now let's call this the name of the normal file, which is 02.cellar, and that's it. So now we have made a new cellar, which basically overrides the current cellar, and yeah, so let's try it out. So also keep in mind, guys, if you want to put like new rooms in, you have to put them in content, otherwise the game thinks that you overwrite stuff. Okay, so now you want to click on save, and it is saved. Just check another time. Now, how do we test out the game? Go to test and go to test current room basement, which is Ctrl T as a shortcut. Okay, done that. Now let's try this bitch out. It's starting up the Binding of Isaac. Let's get a log here so we know if something is not working or something like that. So obviously for this to work, we have to disable the Binding of Jesus. The Binding of Isaac, pardon me. So now we have to obviously restart it, because the mod really doesn't work if you like disabled it. So we have, like, if you enabled it or disabled it, you cannot like try, because there are like custom characters in there. So here we go, and now we should be able to start the normal game. As you can see, the custom characters are gone, and let's try this out, shall we? So we go in the game, and yeah, it's just normal. There's nothing new. What the hell's going on, broski? Well, first of all, what you guys want to do, we're on the burning basement, but we spawn in the cellar. So we first have to go to the cellar. We do that by going, type in stage, okay, stage 1A, which basically allows us to spawn inside the cellar. As you can see, the game changed the cellar. Now, we want to type this in. Go to D dot, and now we want to type in the ID name of our room. And as you can see, the final one is 1033, so that's really easy to remember. So put this in, 1033, and boom! We're now in the room with the new enemies. As you can see, the game shows this. And this is not a problem, guys. It's because the pick entry, because the game doesn't like recognize the entry, and it gets really frustrating because it never saw this. So just ignore this. It's just a warning. It's not an error. Don't worry about it. So here we go. We're on the game and our custom entities are in there. As you can see, if we kill it, it spawns a grid entity. And now we have a chance to get this guy in the game. But how do we make it spawn more often, the entity in the game? Well, that's why we use the wait in order to make it appear much more like frequently. How do we do that? Well, it's really easy. We go exit the game. Okay, exit the game, go to basement renovator. Got it? Cool. Yeah, you can change the different layout of the basement renovator. It's pretty nice. Anyway, so we have the room right here. It's obviously called 1033. So we right click and then we change the weight to 1000. I already did this, but you can try it out if you want to. So now when you've done that, we're going to try it again. So try it again, just choose whatever you can also make a screenshot to show to your friends if you want to, which is also really nice. And yeah, let's try it out again. So we're trying it out again, and now the chance of this to spawn is really high because the weight is 1000, which means that it will be much more. You gotta see it like having multiple weights on a scale, and the one that is the most heaviest will obviously be first. So that's how you have to see these rooms. They get kind of calculated by the name of height. So how much it like frequently spawns. So here we go. We're in a normal game. We're in the basement. So first we have to go obviously to the cellar. Otherwise it doesn't spawn. So here we go. We're in the cellar. Oh my god, we're new, fresh. So obviously we don't want to go here because those are like have big rooms. So you have to go in this room instead. Okay, so now we obviously are not in the room yet, but that will happen eventually. It's not happening right now. That's obviously because there are more rooms in here that actually like really frequently spawn. So keep that in mind. So there's no room here, and there is like nothing here. So in order to increase the way of spawning, I recommend that you add the enemies to more rooms. That's how I do it. If I make a new custom entity, I just add it to the room files that are already in the game, so they spawn more often. So let's go all the way back. Maybe we find it, maybe we don't. It's 1000, so the chance is pretty big to spot that spawn. And okay, we get this room first. I'm gonna be using debug 10, so it kills them all instantly, which is really nice, especially if you're like trying to make a do stuff like debugging and shit. Oh, trash room. Gotta check what's in here. Oh, for fuck's sake, never mind. So let's go all the way back, and so I disabled debug flag, and okay, there's nothing here. Well, we're unlucky, but obviously there are more rooms that have 1000 as weight. But you know, the thing is working, and we can just copy and paste it in every room. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, we made our own custom entity, because if we now try to spawn it, it works, and that's the most important thing. So that is the tutorial, guys, because as you can see, we now spawn the Horf and it works. It spawns, and you can put it in the game using the basement entity. Let's do some crazy shit and repeat it like 1000 times. See that? I need to put HP, so I've unlimited HP, otherwise I die instantly. HP, so you can do loads more stuff with Lua. And as you can see, also the log is showing that there's too much entities in the room right now. But that doesn't really matter. Let me just put debug trees have infinite HP. And as you can see, they're all spawning in and they make the game almost crash. Let me just use the debug tool here, if I don't die. And let's see what happens if we spawn, like quick kill them. Here we go. And as you can see, they spawn holes. See? And we have the new bug. As you can see, we can just walk on these holes. That's kind of funny. Those are the things that are so funny about this game. You can just fuck around with it all the time. But yeah, that's the tutorial. I'm hoping you guys love this tutorial. If you do, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm sorry that I haven't made a lot of tutorials lately. I've been really busy with other stuff with my project, and I'm hoping that you guys can forgive me. But yeah, I will be soon making more tutorials about custom enemies, because I love doing them. Like our next episode will be out tomorrow, and it will be about custom bosses. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you guys all next time. This was BroskiPlays, and stay broski. It's Broski Slam!